we're going to have a little bit of a change of pace and go to my day job, which is mostly doing electrical work. And what we're going to be doing is replacing some parking lot lights, which they're nicknamed Shoebox lights, but not exactly sure why. So I got to prep the mounting yoke to be able to attach a waterproof electrical box so that we can make our connection. And so I have to drill through the side of it, and with a half-inch conduit, which is typically a 7/8 diameter. So now we gotta show some unboxing, which my daughter tells me that people like to see that shit, but I don't quite understand why, but why not? So we'll go ahead and get this one out of the box, but we're not gonna go through a whole procedure here. So we'll get it out of there, get all the packing off of it. The lighting that we put up there originally kind of gave out after, I'm going to guess, 3 years. They just quit. Some of them started flashing, and others just quit altogether. So we are going to go to a little bit more, let's say, known manufacturer and see if we can get something that'll last a little bit longer. So the cord that comes through it comes from the light fixture and goes down through the mounting yoke, and then in some way, depending on how you're mounting, you've got to get it to your wiring system, which I'm going to come through the side of the mounting yoke like this with a close nipple, and then I'll just screw my waterproof box through the back hole and attach it right to the body. There'll be a washer in between to seal it. So right here is where, on this particular model, it's a mechanical connection, and the screws basically just hold it in place, but you can see it slides down into that slot, which is really the strength of the connection, and not necessarily the bolts, although they help. Because these things have to withstand wind, and they're, big flat plates, and, so the wind can get, although it isn't hurricane levels here in Southern California, but it can get pretty windy. So it has to be a fairly strong mount. So we'll go ahead and just show one of these, the way it'll attach. I don't have the sealing washer in between there yet, because I have to do a little more work to them. I have to ground off those little nubs that are on the back of the box so it'll sit nice and flat, which I don't show here. So once we get all three of them done, which they are, we're going to come back the next day and go on up on the roof and change out at least 2 of them. We have 3 lights, and we're going to be adding some of those lights over to the new building that we're working on. I don't know if you've seen those videos, but I've been showing a series on the new building. We're prepping, getting ready. They'll also have these lights. So I got to pull them up with a rope, and my buddy's down there tying stuff on. He's a sailor, so he knows how to tie knots. Although I don't think it's that tough. So we get them all hoisted up on the roof, and we're gonna start getting it ready to go. I cut the cord off because it comes with about 8 feet of SO cable coming out of the light fixture, and we just need to get it to the box. So we're gonna get this one prepped to set in place. I'm going to get these things loose before it'll go on. I put these mounts up there when I installed the original lights, and it's a 2-inch pipe floor flange with a sawed-off 2-inch nipple, and these are designed to fit. This particular type of mount is designed to fit over that 2-inch pipe, and then they just clamp on with those screws, and you can rotate it to get the direction you want, and then clamp, and then tighten the screws down, and then you're set. So it makes it fairly simple to change. So we'll attach our liquid tight connector, and we're going to have to reposition ourselves once we get this in there over to the other side so we can get the wiring done. So we'll go ahead and feed in the liquid tight that comes from the switch. The switch is down, it's on the roof and it's down there a ways, so I can easily switch it off while I'm working on this stuff and switch it back on before I leave. There's another switch downstairs, but it's blocked off so nobody can really turn it off. We don't want anybody turning that off down there. So we'll go ahead and make our connections. This is just a single phase lighting. This is 120 volt lighting. Nothing special about it. They are 300 watts, and you can select the brightness and the light color as adjustments. So our neutral. And then finally the hot wire. The camera is, I'm wearing a chest mount camera, so a lot of times it's not pointed really in the greatest direction to get a view of what it is I'm doing. So I gotta apologize for that. If I wore one on my hat, it might be better, but then if I wear it on my hat, I can't see where it's aimed. And if you're working fairly close, you got to aim it right. So we're going to close it up, and then you can see that fitting on the back of the light, that round fitting. That's where the photo sensor goes. And usually, with the original lights we put in, as soon as you power up and you put in the photo sensor, that's the way you test the light to make sure it's going to work. This is the photo sensor that came with it, and I put that in there, and the light didn't come on. And so I haven't looked up the specs on this light to see if that is how they're generally tested. The other way to test it is to turn the power off and turn it back on, and then you have a few seconds where the light will come on, then it'll go back off if it happens to be in the middle of the day. If it's at night, of course, it'll stay on. So I put the old photo sensor back on there, and the camera couldn't get around to see if it was lit up. It was. But if I move the camera around to where you can see the light fixture, I'd fall on the ground. So this is just some of the other stuff that I've installed on this building. These are like 20 horsepower blowers that actually go down into the print room and facilitate air movement and stuff that those big printers need. And so this is the other one we have to remove. It's dead. So I'm going to kind of go through this a little bit quicker because you just saw me do the other one. I'll do my little quick check to make sure the power's off. I use the non-contact voltage feature on that meter to make sure that there's nothing there that's going to knock me over the edge of the building and down onto the ground. I'm actually too old to be doing this shit, and I'm going to try to get somebody else. I know a guy. He's a young guy. He's just getting into the trade. He's passed his test for a contractor's license, and he needs to kind of develop a clientele before he quits his regular job and goes out on his own. And so I think I've worked with him before, and I like him, and I think I'm going to try to get him set up for these guys so he can climb up ladders and drag shit up the walls. I don't want to do that anymore. So we got this one clamped up. Move over to the other side and get the wiring done, and then we will do the same thing. We'll close it up, stuff our wires, and put the plate on. So this is the next day, next morning, actually very early. And the light over to the left is the one we just changed, and you can see it. It's pretty bright. So it's functioning properly. But I'm using the old photo cell. I didn't try the new ones because they didn't seem to want to work for the test procedure. That's one of the other ones that's still functioning. Now on the other side of the building, where we changed the other one, and you can see it really lights that parking lot up because it's dark, it's night. So that's the one we changed, and that'll wrap up this video. So thanks for watching.